Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It is 6:07. Thanks for joining us here on O'Connor and Company. It's going to be a busy morning coming up in 1 hour. 7:05, it'll be Joe DeGeneva. At 7:35, the president of the D.C. Police Union, Gregory Pemberton. 8:05 brings us General Jack Keane on the Putin-Trump talks. And then at 8:35, Peter Schweitzer, who's been talking about the scandal of the Clinton Foundation and how they went to business worldwide. There was an FBI investigation, and it was squashed. Or is it quashed? I always forget that. FBI is now declassifying documents related to it, and Peter Schweitzer, well, he was right all along. He'll join us to give us the details. It's Larry O'Connor. When I say us, I don't mean the mouse in my pocket. I mean Julie Gunlock.
Good morning.
Good morning, Julie. All right, let's get to it. If you remember, the Department of Education gave a ruling several weeks ago that 5 Northern Virginia school systems are in violation of Title IX because of their radical gender policies that they continue to hold on to, like, dead enders, like they're, Japanese soldiers who are in caves in tropical islands, years after the war has ended. But they're holding on to it. No, really. Trans women are women. No, really. There's no difference. They should be able to put, why are you such a hater? We're talking Alexandria, Arlington, Fairfax, Loudoun, and Prince William. By the way, today's the first day of school in some of these districts. Fairfax, Prince William, Alexandria, Manassas Park, Falls Church. Happy first day of school, everybody. But if you're in Alexandria, Arlington, Fairfax, Loudoun, and Prince William, well, because of the decisions your school board has made, you could be facing a huge drop in federal funding for vital programs that you've counted on. Where you're going to get that money, I don't know. Oh, I'm kidding. Yeah. I know exactly where you're going to get that
exactly.
money. Yeah. They're going to raise your taxes in those areas. But it's going to cost them more than just losing their federal funding. Nick Minnock of WJLA, who has interviewed the Department Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, and she's gone on record saying, we're giving them a certain amount of time, but if they don't change their policies, we're going to pull their funding. Well, Nick Minnock is now reporting that the Department of Education has, in fact, made the determination that they will pull the funding from these 5 Virginia districts. That's going to happen. And not only will these 5 districts be losing that federal funding, but they'll be spending even more money out of their budget. Right. Not for schools, not for pencils, not for teachers, not for kids, for lawyers. Yeah. To fight Trump.
Look, I'm so angry about this. Not at all surprised, but I am very angry about this. These people are monstrous. These school board members are absolutely monstrous. They don't in any way care about these kids. They don't care about the parents who are dealing with this. They don't care that because of these policies, we have seen sexual assaults, we have seen intimidation, we have seen harassment of kids, we have seen fear from kids, we have seen kids holding their pee all day because they're afraid to go to the bathroom. So they don't care. And this is the other thing. They claim to care for these, what they like to say, is trans kids. I say trans identifying and kids that are really suffering from mental problems. We are supposed to be concerned about that very small percentage of kids. Instead of helping them, we accommodate them over the kids who feel discomfort. So they have chosen which kids they are going to advocate for.
That's the key.
Yeah, it is the key.
That is the key here, because they will talk about, this is about rights. This is about the right. No, they're choosing.
This is about kids feeling comfortable. They say that all the time. This is about kids feeling comfortable, but only certain kids. Right. They don't care about the kids who are uncomfortable with this decision and who do not want to undress in front of a boy. They don't care about those girls.
When you look at this, you have to decide whose rights you want to defend, whose rights you want to go to the mat for. Do you want to go to – you have a perceived right. You are perceiving that a boy has a right to use a girls' locker room and compete in girls' sports, despite the fact that that boy is a boy. So you're going to defend that person's right that you perceive they have, ignoring the rights of those girls to have a safe and private space and not be exposed to male genitalia against their will.
This is tracking exactly as it laid out for Riley Gaines and her fellow swimmers. Because in Alexandria, these monsters say, "Oh, if you don't want to undress in front of a boy, we'll find a broom closet for you." They actually say, "We'll find a place for you."
Yeah.
So the answer is, and they'll probably also recommend some psychological help, because that's what they did to Riley Gaines. So the girls who don't want, and also I keep saying girls, boys, we've seen this in Loudoun, where a girl walked into a boy's bathroom and filmed those boys going to the bathroom, and when those boys complained, the boys were investigated, not the girl for walking into a boy's bathroom and filming them. These people are despicable. I can't say that enough. And you're right, Larry. They will not just lose this federal funding, which, by the way, tends to go towards special needs. Okay,
that's right.
These federal funds often go in the form of grants for special needs. They will lose millions more because they will defend this to the death, because they're so stubborn and so proud, and it's all Orange Man bad.
When Trump made good on his campaign promise to begin dismantling the Department of Education and sizing it down and sending the money directly to the states, they were all screaming about the children with Down syndrome, children on the autism spectrum, all of these special needs kids will starve. And now they're like, the money's right there. It's your money. They're ready to hand you the check. All you got to do is follow the law. And real fast, Dr. Babur Latif, what the hell? The president of the Prince William County School Board says, for us, this is about following the law. That's more important than making any type of political statement. They're literally defying the law to make a political statement.
And these are the people during COVID who wouldn't stop saying, we just have to follow the law.
Yeah,
we just have to follow the CDC.
Choice. You
we just
may
have
not
to follow
like that masking policy, but our hands are tied.
Our hands are tied.
Our hands are tied.
Yes, and let me tell you something about the residents of Alexandria and Arlington and these Northern Virginia. They when their taxes go up, so many of them, it's like, seal clap, yay! Because I'm happy to send more money to the school district through my property taxes, because I'm standing for freedom, and it is going to be this total love fest.
Great.
Because people in this is a dark blue area, and they will willingly and proudly say, "Oh, our taxes are going up, yay!" Because we're supporting education and we're supporting these brave school board members. It's pretty gross, Larry.
Well, and as you know, in like 4 weeks, early voting begins in the Commonwealth of Virginia for the governor's race. You've got two candidates. The Republican candidate, Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears, put out a statement. Virginia parents have made it clear they want their children's safety and dignity protected, as school districts want to waste time and taxpayer dollars fighting the Trump administration instead of following the law. They're showing us exactly where their priorities are. I stand with the parents, and I will always defend our girls' sports, bathrooms, and locker rooms. Abigail Spanberger's statement is non-existent. She's not saying anything about this. She's running and hiding. But just understand, she has a clear record in Congress. Every opportunity she's had to vote on this issue to protect your daughters and your sisters and little girls in these programs, your nieces, your granddaughters, she has voted against them. We know the reason why Abigail Spanberger hasn't put out a statement is because we all know exactly where she stands. No statement needed. That's where she is on this issue. Vote wisely, Virginia. It's 6:15.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Speaking of Abigail Spanberger, if you missed the news on Friday, it was a busy day. She has backed out of the planned debate on CNN with Winsome Earl Sears. Lieutenant Governor Sears on our program said she had accepted the terms of the debate, even though she knew that the deck would be stacked against her. Abigail Spanberger is running and hiding. She says, well, I want a Virginia-based news outlet to be responsible for that. It's such a lie. But we're used to her backing out of debates. Remember when she was supposed to debate Yesley Vega for Congress in 2022? The debate was set. The moderators were chosen. It was going to be one moderator from NPR and me, yours truly. And she had agreed to it because I talked to the NPR woman and she said, yeah, we're doing this. Okay, we started the planning process. It was all set. And then she backed out because she said I was a crazy right-winger.
Can you imagine when NPR is on the other side and they think you're a crazy right-winger? I mean, are you kidding?
Oh no! I don't want to name her name. You can Google it if you want. She was lovely. We had a great relationship.
Well, I'm sure she was lovely, but this is a balanced debate. You've got a member of the media on the left and a member of media that's identifies on the right. You don't make a secret of it. But the idea that she says that it's somehow unbalanced, like NPR is just a moderate, middle of the road.
Oh, yes, Lee Vega was perfectly fine with the NPR.
Of course she was,
there.
and this is why she is. Look at the scandals. Look at the scandals in this state right now. We have the allegation that Fairfax teachers were not only transporting kids to abortion clinics, but paying for them, arranging them. We have
hiding it all from their parents.
Hiding it all from their parents, and that Fairfax County knew for like I think months. They knew. You've got this continued situation, Loudoun, where these boys were investigated. You've got now these Northern Virginia districts refusing to comply with the Department of Education. These are the questions she doesn't want to answer.
That's right.
This is what she is avoiding, and it's all because it has to do with parents and parents' rights. It terrifies her.
I should say, Winsome Sears should say, fine, you want a Virginia-based outlet? WJLA, their headquarters are in Rosslyn, Virginia. Nick Minnock will be the moderator. I can be a co-moderator. I'm the ambassador to the wine country. And the WMAL FM tower is in Woodbridge, Virginia. So we are a Woodbridge radio station.
Hey, Larry, why not me?
Julie, honestly, you are a crazy right-winger. All right, we'll throw Julie in.
I'd probably get a little too hot. I'd get a little too angry. Can you imagine? Just start screaming.
Here's the problem with Abigail Spanberger. Even though she refuses to go on the record and say anything, and she continues to pretend she's a moderate. And by the way, more on that in a second. This whole she's a moderate thing I want to address. But she's got a track record. She has a voting record in Congress. She also has a paper trail of many interviews that she did give before she, decided not to say anything to the media, and the media seems compliant with that. Here she is on Major Garrett's podcast as a sitting congresswoman, and this was only a couple of years ago, but she was asked about border security and specifically about paying for a border wall. Listen to her response.
Resources and immigration judges.
A wall?
A physical wall is no.
Can we hear that one more time? This smug, smart ass above it all.
Dismissive.
Exactly. As Julie Gunlock would say, the nerve.
The nerve.
This is your typical Northern Virginia liberal, educated, suburban housewife sort of smug, scoffing response at a border wall. Take a listen again.
Resources and immigration judges.
A wall?
A physical wall is no.
There you go. And you want to know why we had the crisis at the border under Biden? Because of the support of people like Abigail Spanberger. This is exactly who she is. Exactly who she is. By the way, now that we're talking about crime in D.C., remember in 2023, like 30 or 40 Democrats in the House joined Republicans in rejecting the district council's crime bill. That's even something that Muriel Bowser had vetoed but got overturned.
Right.
Then the Senate also rejected the crime bill. Joe Biden also rejected the crime bill. Guess who didn't reject the crime bill? Guess what Democrat in the House of Representatives was just fine with the District Council of Washington once again rewriting the law so that criminals could walk free?
Does it start with an S?
It would be Spanberger.
Yes.
It would be Abigail Spanberger. But she's a moderate, Julie.
Yes.
She's a moderate.
Just a soccer mom, just a moderate. Yeah.
This whole thing about her being a moderate, do you know why people say she's a moderate? Because she has said she is a moderate. But that's it. There's no actual proof. We're CNN with her, without evidence claims. Can you name me?
This is why, Larry, I can't name you, and this is why she is the great disappearing candidate. She is terrified of being asked this. And this is why she's fine having a debate with NPR, but she doesn't want any fair-minded reporter like Nick Minnock or you or anyone else, because they're going to ask these tough questions. She has managed to avoid these tough questions.
Here's the Spanberger challenge for anybody in your, family or people you work with who are like, Abigail Spanberger.
She seems nice.
She's moderate. She's a moderate, and I like her J. Crew wardrobe, and I love the fact she doesn't style her hair.
Honey, that's Talbot's.
She's
that's
a
not
mom
J.
on
Crew.
the go. Yeah. Here's this is the Spanberger challenge. I want everyone to take out, and anyone on the Washington Post who's listening. I'm kidding, but let the Washington Post know about this. Here's the Spanberger challenge. She keeps saying she's a moderate. Name me 5 positions that she holds that are different than Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, or Gavin
AOC.
Newsom. Or she might find a couple from AOC. I think she no. Keep it to these 5: Pelosi, Schumer, Kamala, Tim Walz, Gavin Newsom. How is she different on 5 issues? That's all I ask. 5. I don't even think you could name 3 issues that Abigail Spanberger differs from Gavin Newsom on, from Nancy Pelosi on. And you're calling her a moderate? Yeah, good luck with that. It's 6:23.
Coming up, we'll look back on that really important Trump-Putin meeting last week. And Zelensky arrived in Washington last night for talks with Trump today. It's a big day. Keep it here. It's 6:30.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 6:37. Thank you. It's a busy morning. Thank you for being here and helping us through it. Thank you, Julie Gunlock, for being my wingman, as it were. Can I call you a wingman? Does that bother you?
You
Does
can.
that...
You know.
Well, I mean, wing person.
You can call me wingman. It's fine.
Coming up at 7:05, Joe DeGeneva. Enough said. 7:35, President of the D.C. Police Union, Gregory Pemberton. 8:05, General Jack Keane on the Putin-Trump meeting. And then at 8:35, Peter Schweitzer. New declassified documents showing that there was a bona fide criminal investigation into what the Clinton Foundation was doing in a pay-for-play scheme. Peter Schweitzer wrote about it, so you already know about it because we've talked to Peter Schweitzer for years about it, but now we know that it was real, of course, and the FBI was into it until they were shut down. They were told, stop, pull it out, end it now. Fascinating. All right, let's talk about this meeting. So I'm so confused about this meeting. Trump says, okay, Putin wants to meet, let's meet. We'll go to Alaska. It's very close to Russia. But by the way, a quick pause
I know where
Did
you're
you
going with
notice
this.
all the people in the media and all of the Democrats, when they were looking at the map, they're like, I had no idea Alaska was so close to Russia.
Sarah Palin broke things this weekend.
Thank you.
She was like, okay, are you all serious here? They were brutal to her.
They mocked her endlessly, and it's like, wait, why is this funny? Russia is literally on Alaska's doorstep. This is the thing Alaska knows. They deal with it all the time. All right. Anyway, look at that. Look how close Russia is to Alaska.
I had
Who
no
knew?
idea. And I love it. One guy actually was like, the way they draw maps. It's like, are you kidding me?
Blame the map makers
Right,
for
right,
never
right.
quite understanding the Bering Strait. Is it the Bering Strait? Is that what that is? I think that
I
is.
don't know. I'm going with it.
I don't know either. Anyway, they're in Alaska. What a great moment, by the way. Trump standing on the red carpet. But did you see people angry? I cannot believe he literally rolled out a red carpet for this war criminal.
There was a lot of hand wringing this weekend.
So Trump's standing there. Putin goes over, shakes his hand. They start walking to the podium for the photo op, and then, without notice, a B-2 bomber, the same bomber
I know.
that destroyed the nuclear program in Iran, with some fighter jets, in a sortie, fly directly over Putin's. And Putin's like, "What the hell is that?"
He stopped. I know. And Trump's like, come on. That's normal for us. We do this every Wednesday. Come on.
He flinched.
I know.
Oh man, it was
King
talk about
troll.
optics.
King
Talk
Troll.
about
He is so good at
the
this.
optics. Yeah, thanks for coming to our Air Force. Oh, you didn't know we had those? Oh yeah, we've got those.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. How close are you again? Yeah. Oh, that was great. And so
also the fighter
angry...
jets lining the red carpet. Okay,
Yes.
so it wasn't just the B-2 flying over.
Backdrop.
It was just there was a show of force there. Don't mess with us.
So people are angry that Trump shook his hand. People are angry that Trump smiled at him. People are angry that Trump didn't have him arrested. I saw people saying maybe this is all a setup and Putin will be arrested as a war criminal.
I know. Good God.
And people are upset. Well, first people said that Trump wasn't going to get anything out of this. And then they were upset that Trump ostensibly didn't get anything out of this. But at the same time, they were upset that Trump was acting unilaterally and making a decision on behalf of Ukraine and Europe without consulting them. And so Trump said, well, I got Putin's message. He heard from me. I heard from him. And now I'm going to consult with Europe and Ukraine. And they were all mocking Trump for consulting with Europe and Ukraine. Honestly,
I know. I know. I'm confused. They are so schizophrenic because this is called diplomacy, which they usually love. So he can't win, Larry. We know that. No matter what he does, they're going to find fault with it.
Listen to a little bit of it. Here's cut 7. This is Putin talking at this joint. They call it a joint press conference, but they didn't take any questions. By the way, the fact that Trump refused to take any questions, I think says something. I'm going to ask General Jack Keane about that coming up later in the show. But take a listen to this, cut 7.
I would like to thank President Trump for our joint work, for the well-wishing and trustworthy tone of our conversation. It's important that both sides are result-oriented, and we see that the President of the U.S. has a very clear idea of what he would like to achieve. He sincerely cares about prosperity of his nation. Still, he understands that Russia has its own national interests. I expect that today's agreements will be the starting point, not only for the solution of the Ukrainian issue, but also will help us bring back business-like and pragmatic relations between Russia and the U.S. And in the end, I would like to add one more thing. I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it would come to hostilities. And I said it quite directly back then that it's a big mistake. Today, when President Trump is saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. I can confirm that. I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good, business-like and trustworthy contact. And I have every reason to believe that moving down this path, we can come, and the sooner the better, to the end of the conflict in Ukraine. Thank you.
All right. I got something to say about that because a lot of people, Republicans, Trump supporters, are like, see, Putin said it's true. It's true. It wouldn't have happened if Trump were president. I believe that, but everyone needs to calm down in jumping up and down and being excited that a KGB lying authoritarian dictator just validated something that you want to believe, because he'll lie about whatever he needs to lie about. I got a little bit more on that in a moment. And Marco Rubio on the Sunday shows was phenomenal.
On fire.
So we're going to play that for you in a moment, too. Listen, Putin's saying, yeah, Trump's right. If he had been president, I would have never invaded Ukraine. I get it, and I agree with that sentiment. I do. But just so you know, don't put too much stock in it. Don't be, jumping up and down saying, see, Putin validated me. Because let me tell you something. This guy is a lying, conniving, authoritarian KGB punk. And the second he's angry at Trump, he will come out and give a special one-on-one interview with George Stephanopoulos, and he will come clean and he will say, yes, it's true, there was collusion. I was working with the Trump campaign all through 2016. I wanted him to be president because I knew he would be my puppet. Trust me, he will say whatever he needs to for his own thing. So, listen, again, I agree with this. I don't think it would have happened if Trump were president, but there's no reason to, I'm just saying don't latch your star to his, is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I just think that's wise.
I agree. And even in that press conference, all of the sort of slobbering comments he made about Trump, it just, for me, it was like Charlie Brown's teacher. I just don't want to hear it.
He'll say what he needs to say.
He will. And he, as we've seen, they have had ceasefires, they have had agreements, and then he bombs Ukraine. So
And Trump knows that, by the way.
Yes,
and Trump's
of course.
team knows that. In fact, speaking of his team, here's Marco Rubio on ABC this week, and he did something that I've been dying for these politicians to do, where, the interviewer, Martha Raddatz, I think it is, asking for all the, so what was said behind closed doors? And Rubio's like, what the hell? Why would I tell you what happened behind closed doors? Here, listen.
Can you name any concessions that Vladimir Putin made during this meeting? Have any
I wouldn't name them on your program.
Have any concessions
I wouldn't name
been
them
asked?
on your program. Why would I do that?
Where is the
Well,
pressure?
of course, because you can't have a peace agreement. No, you can't have a peace agreement unless both sides give and get. You can't have a peace agreement unless both sides make concessions. That's a fact. That's true in virtually any negotiation. If not, it's just called surrender. And neither side is going to surrender. So both sides are going to have to make concessions. So, of course, concessions were asked. But what utility would there be of me going on a program and tell you we wagged our finger at Putin and told him you must do this and you must do that?
You.
It's only going to make it harder and less likely that they're going to agree to these things.
It's so stupid. All right, actually, there was a little bit more of Rubio. Let's save time for it maybe at 7:15 or at 8:15 to play because he was so good. And I want to give it the time that it's due. So stick with us. There's more to come. It's 6:52.